Hi, and welcome to your WU Financial Aid presentation for TSOAR. We're glad that you're here, and we're happy to be here. My name is Anel Venegas Trujillo, and I'm a bilingual financial aid / scholarship counselor here at Western. So let's get started. First, we're going to go through our agenda. I've been awarded aid. Now what? I don't have an aid package yet. Why could that be? And what are some actions that I could do between now and when school starts? What other information you could need, so what else do I need to know? And hopefully to the end, the contact page for you to contact us if you have any questions. So I've been awarded aid, now what? The next step would be to accept your aid. You're going to want to log into your portal at www.wu.edu/portal. This will take you to your WU student portal. You want to click the green financial aid icon, and that will take you to your MyFinAid, which is your financial aid portal for Western. So once you go into your MyFinAid, you're going to want to read the terms and conditions about the rights and responsibilities of accepting financial aid as a federal financial aid recipient, and that will be on the Accept Awards tab. Once you're accepting that portion, you're going to want to accept or decline your desired aid on your award letter that we've been packaged you with. If you want to reduce the amount of loans that you'll be receiving, you can do so by contacting our office, and we can make those changes for you. So let's go over the types of aid that you may see on your award letter. Grants. So that is free money that is given to you based on your financial aid need, which is the figures that we get through your FAFSA once it's submitted. The scholarships is also something that you might see on there, which is also free money that's given to you based on a couple of factors, some of those being merit, accomplishments, and community involvement. So these are usually competitive, may require an application, or be solely based on your merit. The next type of aid that we have is work studies. So these are wages that you earn that are funded in part of the federal government. So you're going to want to contact the Service Learning and Career Development Office to see any available opportunities in terms of federal work study approved jobs near campus or on campus. Next will be loans. So this is money that is not free, but this is money that you can borrow and then are expected to repay back once you're out of school. So to go a little more in depth about what that means for loans, loans are a reality for a lot of our students attending our school. So your eligibility for annual limits for loans is depicted in this chart here. As you can see, your amount of loans that you can receive changes based on the year in school that you're in. So a freshman who's a dependent student is able to receive $5,500 total of federal student loans, and then after that, third, fourth, and fifth years are able to receive $7,500 as a dependent student. These figures do increase if you're an independent student. If that is the case, or you're unsure what your dependency status is, you can contact our office and we can let you know. There is an option for a Parent Plus loan, so parents are able to apply for a federal loan. Keep in mind that this loan would be under the parent's name and not the student's, but it'll allow the student to have that additional federal loan opportunity to cover the remaining gap, if any, for any kind of expenses or costs that come from attending Western. If a parent is denied for whatever reason for the Parent Plus loan, the student does become eligible to receive additional unsubsidized loan, and this would only be per request of the student, so you would have to request it only after you've shown that a Parent Plus loan has been denied for the parent. Again, the Parent Plus loan is a credit-based application, so the parent will know right then and there if they were declined or approved for the loan. Now, next we'll move on to creating a budget. It is super important that you spend time on figuring out what your expenses or costs will be for school. The financial aid cost of attendance is an estimate only, and your costs will vary based on your particular situation because it'll change based on your enrollment level, it'll change based on your housing option. Only borrow as much loan money as you need. You may not need the maximum amount that we've offered you because we'll always package you with the maximum amount of federal loans, but keep in mind that you don't want to borrow more than you need. And if you have any questions on that, you can contact the financial aid office if you've accepted more loans or money that you actually needed, so we can always reduce that figure for you. Now let's go over your financial aid award letter. So this is what you would have received via mail. It'll be broken down by type of financial aid that you'll be receiving. It'll be broken up into the three terms. You'll see the total per term towards the bottom, but you'll also see the total of the award for the year on the right-hand side, totaling to that corner piece. In this case, it is $23,345. Now, if we scroll down to the bottom under cost of attendance, you'll see the figure that's been boxed at $24,600. $2,636. This is your cost of attendance. This is a figure that you want to compare that $23,000 with, because that gap is what might not necessarily be covered in your estimated costs. Again, they're estimated. So the difference there will be located towards the bottom. You see that 1,291 figure boxed at the bottom. That is what you could get an additional loan amount. It does not mean federal loan. What it means and it refers to is a private student loan that you may be eligible to get if you were to apply and be accepted for a private student loan. The next number that I want to point out is the total resources figure, that in this case it's a 0. That is where you will see your expected family contribution. So that is what mainly drives how much financial aid you can receive when it's need-based, and this is where you'll be able to see that figure that came straight from your FAFSA ORSA. The MyFinAid portal, this is what it looks like once you click on that green money sign. You'll want to make sure that the current award year says 2021. At this point it says 1920. And just to familiarize yourself with the terms and information that's located on here, but your main button will be the menu on the top left corner. Once you click that, you'll see two options that will be most important at this point in time, which would be accept your awards and then documents and messages. In your accept your awards, that's where you'll be able to accept your awards. Documents and messages is where we'll be able to list what we need in addition in order to move forward with your financial aid. So accept your awards page. This is what will first pop on and would be your rights and responsibilities. Make sure to read the fine print. And once you have, as a federal aid recipient, you're required to accept the terms and conditions if you wish to accept federal aid. So you're going to want to click on the I agree these terms and conditions box at the bottom and then hit submit. The next page would be the documents and messages page, as I was mentioning before. Here you'll see things listed that we'll need in order to move forward with your financial aid. If the title of the document is highlighted, that will route you to either the website where we need you to complete the task, or it'll open up the PDF file that we need you to fill out, sign, and return to our office. If you need information about what those documents mean or why we need those, simply click on the click to view message, and that will let you know why we are required to receive that information from you. If you missed it on your award letter, or you want a most updated amount that you can receive in a private student loan or apply for a private student loan, you can also find that on here at the bottom where I have circled. There is the amount that you would have found in your award letter indicating how much you're eligible to apply for a private student loan if that's something that you're looking towards receiving as a resource. Now I would like to go over some paperwork that you'll need to be completed in order for us to move forward with your loans after you've accepted the amounts that you wish for the year. The first would be to go to studentloans.gov. You could also get there by clicking on the link from your MyFinAid portal. For the students, for the parent, you'll be receiving an email letting you know where to go in order to get that done, but both of these should be located at studentloans.gov, which would route you to studentaid.gov. The first for the parent and the student would be the master promissory note. This is a 5-minute contract that you get to read. It basically states that you are the borrower and that the loan will be in your name, and that is your responsibility to pay it back, as well as details about the loan. The next thing that you'll want to complete would be the loan entrance counseling for students. So this is basically a tutorial or a session that the government has put up for you so that you understand what a loan is and how it works over time. It'll ask you to put in your actual figures, but if you're not sure at the time because you're not sure how much you want to accept for the year, feel free to use the example that they provide on there, because all they want you to do is be able to go through that tutorial session so you understand how the loan works and how it'll grow over time. For parents, you'll want to also go in and apply there for the Parent Plus loan if that's something you wish to do. This application is credit-based, so you'll know right then and there if you were accepted or declined. In order to look for a job, so this is important for students to know, you want to start looking around early September. You're going to want to be looking at things for work study. So if you want to find a job that's federal work study approved, you might want to talk to us and then we can route you to the correct department. Work study and non-work study students can obtain jobs on campus. Not all campus jobs are federal work study approved, but there are positions for all students, whether you're federal work study approved or not. The department that you'd want to visit would be the Service Learning and Career Development, or you can follow their WolfLink website, which is also found on your WU Student portal. So if you haven't received your financial aid package, there's a couple of things that could be holding up you getting your award letter. The first would be, have you completed your FAFSA in the last 6 weeks? It takes about 6 weeks for us to process a FAFSA application. We see it 3 days after it's been submitted, but after that, it goes through a couple of processes for us to actually be able to work with the FAFSA application and be able to award you your eligible financial aid. It could possibly also be that you were selected for verification. If that's the case, we're going to need additional documentation in order for us to move forward to complete your verification process in order to know what your expected family contribution will for sure be after verification and be able to award you with your eligible financial aid. It also could be that your FAFSA has some mismatched information or misinformation that we need to fix or correct on our end. If that's the case, it should be noted on your FAFSA SAR that your FAFSA has been rejected, or there's additional information on your documents and messages within your MyFinAid portal. So that being said, again, a reminder to always check your documents and messages tab in your MyFinAid portal, because that's where we're going to put all the documents or information that we need in order to move forward with your award letter. So what actions do you need to do as a student between now and the start of fall term? So you're going to want to follow your financial aid checklist. This will give you step-by-steps of what you need to do in order to get your financial aid ready to go. If you're confused at all on that checklist, feel free to contact our office and we'll be more than happy to help you out. You're going to want to complete your entrance loan counseling and master promissory note if you haven't borrowed loans before. If you have borrowed loans before at your previous school, this might already be completed, but you'll know for sure if you go into your documents and messages. If nothing is listed there, feel free to give us a call and we can give you an update status to see if both of those tasks have been completed in order to make sure that your loans are ready to go for the school year. Parents can apply for the Parent Plus loan between now and the start of the school year, and again, they're going to want to do that at studentaid.gov. And at this point in time, you could also take this opportunity to find a job if finding a job is necessary for you to be able to make those out-of-pocket payments if financial aid isn't able to cover all of your costs while you're here. So what else do you need to know while you're here? So there's release of confidential information. We are unable to release any information to any person, whether that is a parent or a third party or a spouse. In order for us to be able to release that information, we're going to need permission from you, the student, and you do so by turning in a release of confidentiality information form. You can find this form on your WU Student Home Portal page. If you scroll down to the bottom of that home page, you'll find the financial aid forms, and under 2021 school year, you're going to find the release of confidentiality information form. There, you'll be able to complete it. So please keep in mind that this form is only being able to be completed by the student. The parent cannot fill it out or send it in for the student. It has to come from the student themselves so that we make sure and understand that it is something that the student is requesting. You can turn this form in by printing it out and sending it into our financial aid email address. You can also upload it to our supplemental document upload option that you'll also find under that same list for financial aid forms. This is a new feature, so we're excited to put it up as an option for students. That way they don't have to email it in and they can just submit it by uploading the PDF file to our webpage. If for whatever reason you still have questions, because I know we've been giving you a lot of information, or have special unique circumstances that you'd like to speak with us about, you can always book an appointment. At this time, we are only doing phone and video appointments. So if you want to log into WC icon in your WU portal, you'll be able to set up an appointment with us by clicking on that icon and selecting Get Advising. At that point, you'll be able to choose between the academic advisors or financial aid. So you're going to want to select financial aid, and it'll give you your available times or our available times for you to select what works best for you. Other things to consider are your enrollment level. That will directly impact how much financial aid you'll be receiving for terms, because it will change your cost of attendance budget for the term. So someone who is full-time will be a little different than someone who is half-time because they're not taking the same number of credits. Therefore, their charges will be different because they're taking less credits or more credits. Another thing to keep in mind is satisfactory academic progress. So we're going to want to make sure that your WU cumulative GPA stays at a 2.0 or greater. We're going to want to make sure that you stay at a 66.66% pace rate, meaning that's your passing grade. So how many of the classes that you've taken have you actually earned a grade for? The other is that you maintain below 220 credits at this point. One thing to keep in mind is your satisfactory academic progress standards will not be checked until the end of the school year. So if you find yourself below a 2.0, for example, between fall term and winter term, that won't be evaluated until end of spring term. Another thing to keep in mind is to check your WU email throughout the year. That is where our main communication happens. So we will be reaching out to you there in order for us to receive information that we're requesting from you. So as long as you keep checking that WU email and submitting all the information that we need, any point in time in the school year, your financial aid should disperse on time, unless for whatever reason there are things holding up your aid, in which case, if you don't find an email, feel free to call us and we can let you know what's going on. And like I mentioned before, follow your financial aid checklist. That will give you a lot of information of what to do next between now and then as well. So last words from financial aid would be the release of confidentiality information form that you can submit for other people to have access to your financial aid. You're going to want to review your financial aid checklist and glossary of terms to let us know if you have any more questions in regards to your award letter. You can make an appointment with us via phone or video as an option, and you do this by logging into the WCS icon for us to make that appointment. And most importantly, enjoy the moment. Coming to WU is a big step, and we're glad that you're here, and we're excited to work with you. And because this is a virtual, I wanted to show you what our building looks like. So when we are on campus, you'll be able to find us. We are located on the administration building on the 3rd floor. So this is what the picture looks like of the front of our building. So we hope to see your smiling faces there at whatever point in time. If you have any questions regarding financial aid, we're always here to help. So if you have any follow-up questions, this is my contact information. Feel free to reach out. We're always here to help. Go Wolves!